10 years ago or longer, we never would have anticipated this moment where Marty and I get to go down together underground in the money pit.
Oak Island has been hiding its secrets for over 2 centuries. But Season 13, the mystery has exploded into something far bigger than anyone ever imagined. Rick Lagina and his team are staring down the find of a lifetime. A vault so massive, so valuable, it could hold over $200 million in treasure. Watch till the end, because what's happening on that island right now is nothing short of history in the making. And if you're hooked on uncovering Oak Island's hidden truths, tap like and subscribe so you're here for every major discovery. It all unfolds after midnight, under floodlights and a sky thick with silence. The team pushes the drill farther into the legendary money pit, bracing for another disappointment. Instead, the bit slams into something solid, heavy timber, bracing untouched for over 400 years. The impact sends a deep, booming vibration through the ground, a strange metallic echo that feels less like wood and more like a warning from beneath their feet. Then the soil samples come up, and everything stops. In the dirt, tiny glints shimmer under the lights. Flecks of gold leaf embedded in ancient oak, not scattered randomly, but fused into the beams themselves. It's undeniable evidence. Someone intentionally buried something valuable here long ago. Moments later, seismic imaging delivers an even bigger shock. A massive void, nearly the size of a small chapel, sitting 180 feet underground. The atmosphere changes instantly. Is this the vault generations have searched for? The one rumored to hold a treasure, now valued at over $175 million. For Rick Lagina, this isn't about striking it rich. It's about a lifelong calling. He's invested close to $15 million of his own money into this island, pouring years of effort and belief into a quest many called impossible. Now, he says they've crossed the line where there's no turning back. They either uncover the truth or leave with nothing but heartbreak. Critics may scoff, but Rick doesn't waver. The evidence speaks for itself. This isn't blind obsession. To him, it feels like fate. Ever since he first read about Oak Island in Reader's Digest as a kid, he's believed he was meant to help finish its story. And the discoveries keep stacking up. Sifting through mud and debris, the team recovers a fragile scrap of parchment. Faded, fragile, but unmistakable. Stamped on it is the fleur-de-lis. Historians on site are stunned. That symbol once represented French royalty, the authority of kings. Combined with gold, already tested at 22-carat purity, the implications grow heavier. This might not be random treasure. It could be wealth tied directly to European monarchies. Some quietly speculate, could it be royal gold smuggled out of France during one of its most turbulent eras? Early projections suggest the chamber could contain thousands of coins, bars, and priceless relics, easily surpassing $175 million. Yet its historical impact might outweigh its price tag. Some experts even whisper that such a discovery could rival the significance of Tutankhamun's tomb, reshaping North America's treasure narrative forever. But the gold and symbols are only part of the story. Maps once brushed off as myths are suddenly gaining credibility. Inside a softly lit research tent, cryptographers study a nearly 700-year-old manuscript filled with intricate Templar codes. After weeks of painstaking analysis, hidden numerical patterns begin to surface, numbers that align directly with the heart of the money pit. The precision is startling. For decades, skeptics insisted the island was nothing more than a natural sinkhole cluttered with debris. Yet when those decoded coordinates are layered over modern survey data, They match almost perfectly. For Rick, it feels like confirmation at last, as if history itself is guiding their hands. The breakthroughs don't end there. Stone markers scattered across the island are re-examined, slabs etched with shallow grooves, weathered rocks carved with faint lines. When plotted on a map, their positions mirror the stars above, specifically Orion's belt, converging toward the excavation site. Coincidence or deliberate design? Some believe it's proof the island was engineered as a coded landscape, possibly even a hidden Templar vault, disguised by nature. The thought sends a surge of energy through the crew. If Oak Island was constructed as a vault by design, the treasure it guards could be unlike anything ever concealed in the New World. Rick describes this merging of science, symbolism, and hard data as the strongest chain of evidence they've ever assembled, a rare moment of certainty from a man who rarely speaks in absolutes. And just when it feels like they're closing in, the island answers back. As the drill pushes deeper into the hidden chamber, a low rumble rolls through the earth. Then, without warning, a thunderous surge of seawater blasts into the shaft. For decades, the so-called flood tunnels were treated like folklore, dramatic stories told to explain failure. But in this moment, they prove terrifyingly real. Salt water erupts upward with violent force, icy and relentless, swallowing equipment and threatening to erase months of work in seconds. Chaos breaks out across the site. Engineers shout orders. Heavy-duty pumps are dragged into position and fired up, their engines screaming as they fight against the pressure of the Atlantic itself. It becomes painfully obvious. This isn't just a battle with nature. It's a confrontation with brilliant minds from centuries past. Builders who designed this place to resist intrusion at any cost. Standing near the edge, drenched in spray, Rick Lagina watches the water churn below and quietly says, "This stopped being a dig. Now it's a war." His words settle over the crew. Every step toward the vault triggers defenses left behind by men long gone, yet still somehow guarding their secret. What shocks modern experts most is the precision of the trap system. These flood channels, carved through stone and compacted clay, still operate flawlessly after hundreds of years. They harness ocean pressure with calculated efficiency, funneling water exactly where it can do the most damage. Some specialists compare the engineering to advanced 18th century naval design. Others see echoes of medieval fortress defenses. But one question overshadows them all. How was something this complex built in secrecy on a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia without a trace in official records? Such an operation would have required enormous funding, specialized knowledge, and coordination, resources likely available only to powerful elites or royal sponsors. And if that much effort went into protecting what lies below, then whatever is hidden there must be extraordinary. With the site under constant threat from flooding, international specialists are brought in. Metallurgists from Europe analyze earlier gold traces and deliver a stunning assessment. The chemical signature matches coinage minted between the 14th and 16th centuries. This isn't pirate plunder tossed into a hole. It points to wealth connected to European crowns during their height of influence. At the same time, dendrochronologists examine the preserved oak beams recovered from underground. Their findings link the timber to regions of Spain and France from the same era, suggesting Old World craftsmanship and maritime expertise were involved in constructing the vault. Researchers digging through maritime archives in Nova Scotia uncover cryptic notes from the 1700s. References to unidentified ships arriving quietly, then disappearing without cargo manifests. No official explanation, no documentation of trade, just brief, mysterious entries that hint at covert activity. The theory grows stronger. Oak Island may have served as a discreet waypoint in a transatlantic web of secrecy, perhaps royal families, perhaps remnants of the Knights Templar, or perhaps shadow networks moving valuable assets beyond the reach of political upheaval. Archaeologists add further weight to the case. They note that the underground construction techniques resemble hidden vaults in Portugal and concealed crypts in France. It's as if a fragment of Europe was reconstructed beneath this remote island, stone by stone, to safeguard something priceless. Taken together, the pattern is staggering. This no longer feels like a fireside legend. It looks like a coordinated centuries-old operation. And among experts, a quiet consensus forms. If the chamber is fully accessed, its contents could realistically surpass $175 million in value. Gold bars, coins, royal artifacts, perhaps even religious relics. Wealth on a scale that rivals institutional reserves. For Rick and the team, the emotional weight grows heavier by the day. Standing near the dig site, shoulders bowed under years of sacrifice, Rick admits the search has nearly broken him. It's not just financial investment, it's decades of time, energy, health, and personal life consumed by this quest. He remembers being a young boy, reading about Oak Island in Reader's Digest, feeling something ignite inside him that never faded. Now, hearing pumps roar against the ocean's fury, he reflects on how much the island has demanded. His voice softens as he says, "It's taken almost everything from me. Maybe now it's ready to give something back." The crew is visibly moved. To them, Rick has always been steady, the emotional anchor. But in this moment, standing on the brink of a potential 9-figure discovery, he reveals the personal toll behind the determination. His brother, Marty Lagina, long known as the pragmatic businessman and skeptic, acknowledges something deeper driving Rick. He describes it not as greed, but as destiny. While others tally projected values of coins and relics, Rick insists the money is secondary. $100 million is just a number. What truly matters to him is validation, proving that the legend of Oak Island is rooted in truth, not trickery, that the decades of ridicule, setbacks, and empty shafts weren't in vain. For Rick, this journey has never been about gold alone. It's about closing a circle, finishing a story that began long before him, and refusing to let a mystery outlive another generation unanswered. But even as Rick grapples with his personal crossroads, the outside world is taking notice in ways the team never anticipated. Word leaks from the island, whispered first in obscure treasure forums and then blasted across mainstream headlines. Oak Island team closes in on $175 million vault, screams one outlet. Almost overnight, the world is watching. Twitter trends ignite as people speculate wildly. Was it pirate gold? Was it a Templar treasury spirited away from Europe? Was it the lost fortune of French royalty hidden before the revolution? Hashtags like #Oak Island Treasure and #Rick Lagina find surge across social media. Reddit threads explode with theories, some weaving elaborate timelines of European migration, others connecting Oak Island to Freemason rituals or the Knights Templar's hidden maps. The attention is no longer niche. CNN dispatches a crew to Nova Scotia. The BBC circles with interest, preparing coverage as if Oak Island is a breaking geopolitical event. Treasure hunters from around the world, some amateurs, some seasoned, begin plotting their own expeditions, convinced the Laginas have finally broken the code. For the first time, the dig feels less like a reality television series and more like a global cultural phenomenon. People debate it in coffee shops, in classrooms, on late-night talk shows. The notion that a vault worth $100 million, loaded with history-altering artifacts, could be unearthed in real time grips the imagination of millions. And with every leak, every photograph of soil samples, every rumor of gold traces, the stakes rise. As if on cue, technology provides answers that history never could. Ground-penetrating radar sweeps across the dig zone, and the monitors glow with precision outlines. A rectangular chamber emerges in the scans, vast and deliberate, larger than most crypts found beneath Europe's oldest cathedrals. The dimensions alone are staggering, 40 by 20 feet, reinforced by timbers thicker than ship masts. It isn't nature's work, it's architecture designed to last. The team leans in as metallic density scans follow. The readings flare with intensity, showing anomalies consistent with mass gold storage. The numbers don't lie. What's below is dense, metallic, and highly reflective. Artificial intelligence modeling is brought in to cross-compare the data. The algorithms match the Oak Island chamber's size and proportions with known Templar vaults in Portugal and southern France. The resemblance is uncanny. Could it be that the very same minds that carved crypts for knights and kings in Europe sailed across the Atlantic to engineer a mirror vault in the New World? The possibility ignites the imagination, suggesting a lineage of knowledge that spanned continents. Then drones take to the skies, scanning the island from above. What they reveal is something no one expected. In the swamp, long dismissed as a natural formation, subtle geometric patterns come into focus when seen at the right angles. Perfect circles, intersecting lines, shapes too precise to be random. When overlaid with historical diagrams, the patterns bear resemblance to coded Templar symbols, compasses, crosses, and star alignments hidden in plain sight. For centuries, the swamp had been a distraction, a red herring. Now it appears to have been part of the plan, a coded surface marker pointing to the truth below. The blend of cutting-edge science and centuries-old legend electrifies the crew. For the first time, myth and mathematics stand side by side, confirming each other rather than contradicting. To Rick and his team, it feels as though history is speaking in two voices at once. The voice of ancient builders who left their marks in stone and soil, and the voice of modern technology powerful enough to finally decode them. The chamber is there. The treasure is real. And the island, for all its resistance, is slowly yielding its secrets. The barrier gave way with a grinding crack, stone shifting as the drills punched through centuries of resistance. For a moment, there was silence. Then a piercing hiss as compressed air, trapped since the vault was first sealed, escaped with a ghostly whistle. It wasn't just sound. It was atmosphere from another century, bleeding into the present, thick with the smell of damp stone, and something metallic that no one could mistake. Flashlights swept across the darkness, and eyes widened at once. Reflections danced back. Tiny flashes of yellow glint, faint but undeniable, shimmering like sparks hidden in the black. No one spoke for a beat too long. And then, in a single wave, gasps echoed through the shaft. The murmurs moved through the crew like electricity. It's there. It's real. We actually did it. Within minutes, radios crackled non-stop as security tightened the perimeter. Extra guards were posted along the tree line, scanning the darkness as if someone might rush the site. The instant confirmation spread. It wasn't fear. It was awareness. If the rumors were true, this wasn't just another artifact. This was a vault, valued at $175 million, a discovery powerful enough to rewrite chapters of history. At the edge of the shaft, Rick Lagina leaned forward, hands unsteady, face drained of color, yet burning with emotion. When he finally found his voice, it trembled. "It's real. We found it." The clip traveled fast. Before a single object had even been formally catalogued, historians worldwide began offering interpretations. Theories multiplied overnight. Some researchers claimed markings briefly visible on a half-buried stone resembled inventory symbols linked to Marie Antoinette's royal collection, jewels believed to have disappeared during the chaos of the French Revolution. Could her treasures have been smuggled across the Atlantic to escape political collapse? Others looked towards Spain. They noted parallels between the vault's construction and defensive techniques associated with fleets from the era of the Spanish Armada. Was it possible damaged ships offloaded precious cargo here in secrecy, trusting Oak Island to guard it for centuries? The implications stretched far beyond treasure. If proven authentic, this site could suggest European operations in North America long before the voyages of Christopher Columbus. That possibility alone would challenge accepted timelines of exploration and colonization. Out of the sludge, shining through centuries of dirt and decay, something extraordinary came into view. A golden cross. Even coated in mud, it radiated brilliance. Its arms were solid and finely formed, lined with emerald stones that flashed under the worklights like green fire. Every voice on site fell silent. Specialists leaned in, studying it carefully. The detailing was unmistakable. This wasn't debris. This was elite craftsmanship. Within minutes, quiet estimates began circulating. The piece alone could be worth at least $5 million. And if something this significant was resting near the entrance of the chamber, what lay further inside? Was this a lone relic caught at the edge of history, or a glimpse of something far greater hidden beyond the flooded vault? The cameras turned to Rick Lagina. His face carried the weight of decades, exhaustion, disbelief, and something deeper. For the first time, the proof he had chased his entire life was no longer theory. It was real. And yet, rising water threatened to pull it back into darkness. Over the roar of pumps and rushing seawater, Rick spoke quietly. "We're closer than anyone has ever been, but Oak Island still has its tests." Below them, the shaft churned violently, as if the island itself refused to surrender completely. The crew had no choice but to step back. Equipment powered down. Boots dragged through thick mud. The cross was secured safely, undeniable evidence in their hands. But the vault itself remained sealed by chaos. Before pulling away, cameras made one last sweep into the swirling opening. Through the murk, lights reflected off something impossible to ignore. Faint but distinct shapes stacked in formation. Hard edges. Metallic gleams flickering like buried sunlight. Bars, coins, objects shimmering just beyond clear sight. A treasure sat there, vast, breathtaking, almost within reach. The chamber was real. The treasure was real. But Oak Island had delivered one final reminder. Not yet. If you want to witness what happens next in this historic hunt, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because the next breakthrough could change everything.